Merci à tous les deux. Je ne vous ai pas présenté Danny Menken, cofondateur de BPifrance et de Exit Boxing, également actionnaire de Sportworx. Karim Ben Rejeb, managing director en banque d'investissement chez JPMorgan Chase & Co. On va parler sport, on va parler investissement, on va parler innovation avec tous les deux. Merci à vous d'être ici. Thank you both for being with us. On va parler anglais si vous le permettez. Karim, in a few words, how could you describe the current landscape in these markets?
So first of all, I had my moment of glory this morning because Sophie Lacoste validated my my style because I'm wearing On's shoes. So sport, I think you had a number of speakers right now. Nicolas mentioned the economy of sport. Philippe is a representative of what we call intellectual property, IP, so content. It's the federation, clubs, tournaments, events. That's the traditional and most visible part of the sport ecosystem. But there is more than that. It's a broader ecosystem, which includes, in our view, all the assets that enable the monetization of the rights, whether it's data analytics, event organization, ticketing, fan engagement, and then you have the downstream, the mass participation in sport. So it's the amateur recreational practice of sport. So it's elite performance, entertainment, as well as mass participation, well-being, and leisure, and in between a number of assets that enable the monetization of those rights.
Danny, I guess you agree with that. You know, of course, obviously the ecosystem and its evolution. Why is it so important to innovate, not just in products, but also in processes?
I think it goes hand in hand with Sportworx and Exit Boxing and one of my other businesses, V2Ventures. We are innovating every day, every minute.
You have to.
You have to. The moment you don't, you're behind. So next to innovative new sport formats, we're also always looking at innovating our processes. How can we better, quicker, faster go to fans? How can we improve our content quality? How can we improve fan engagement? How can we create the right infrastructure, which is lean and mean, in order to organize our events, etc.?
How do you describe the difference between maybe on this question, on the innovation question, how do you describe the difference between Europe, the European market, US market, Asia market? Are we behind? Are we ahead? Maybe I'm asking you, Karim, and maybe you, Danny, afterwards.
Yeah, I can kick it off. Look, so first of all, the US market in terms of size is the largest globally. It's the entertainment economy. There are some structural differences in sport assets, starting with intellectual property. First of all, the franchise model in the US has been designed and built for value creation. It is not necessarily the case of our sport IP assets in Europe, with the legacy ones, as there is a reputation of sport investment being loss-making, and it's more du mécénat rather than value creation. In the US, the franchises have been designed and built to create value for shareholders. There are differences in terms of how the leagues, certain leagues are organized. As the experts would know, the number of leagues in North America are closed, which means that the clubs that play in those leagues are guaranteed the fact that they will be part of that league forever, which gives them a better level of predictability in terms of revenues. There is also a difference between Europe and the US in the way the distribution of profits between the owners of the IP and the other stakeholders, including players. As you might know, there are salary caps in the North American leagues. There is a budget cap now in a European league that is Formula One, which made Formula One investable from a capital perspective. That's not the case in a few sports in Europe, including football. And as the club owners know too well, all the money goes into to pay the players. And the economic performance is correlated to the sport performance. If you are not top 3, 4 of the top league, you don't get championship. You can't access to the Champions League. Therefore, there is different economics. Equally, there is relegation risk. So, which means that at the core, some of the sport organizations have been designed in North America in a way that is value or that guarantees a better visibility for value creation. So those are some of the differences. But Danny, probably more on the innovation, technology, fan engagement. There are also other considerations that are worth highlighting.
Your input on that?
Yeah. So for me, I see the status of sport in Europe, the way it is treated, the way people invest in sport. People see sport more as a hobby, whilst in the US and Asia it's really seen as a business. Much more looking at innovation, creating value, and this is slowly changing in Europe, but I think we are definitely behind.
What are some of the key lessons you've learned about scaling a sport business across multiple European markets?
Yeah, so I've been building businesses, sport businesses all around the world, and what I've learned is that every market has its own culture, its own dynamics. So you will never be able to tailor to each market with one strategy. You always need to adapt to the local dynamics, get a very good local team, which enables you to get the right local partners, and only then your business will thrive.
We talked about European or French specials.
Sorry?
Is French special, like we talked about European? Is the French market special in the European
every market
market?
has its specialty.
Yeah?
So
Okay.
France is nothing different than Poland or Germany. I mean, there are differences, but...
Your input, Karim, on that.
On France, look, after us, and a former JPMorgan trainee, Benjamin Saada, will be here. He's the founder of an innovative equipment technology business. So in France, we have creative minds, we have entrepreneurs, and sport, and the sport ecosystem. Because I believe, obviously, equipment is part of this ecosystem. Technology, digital transformation is part of the ecosystem. We have bright minds, we have entrepreneurs, we have industries in France that are already serving and innovating in the solutions provided to various stakeholders in the sport industry. I think what we probably need is scale and the ability to take these businesses globally, because the audience for sport is global. It's the largest addressable market you could consider between fans, viewers, consumers, amateur sport participants. It's a global audience. I think the opportunity for our French and European assets is the ability to scale globally, which the Americans and a few out of Asia have realized and have been doing. But I think, look, we talk a lot about Europe versus the US. There is this sense that Europe is lost and we are becoming a museum and we don't innovate. It's not true, right? What is true is that if we let only the American and the Asian investors own our sport assets, yes, we will become a museum. But that's a different topic. But we have the ability in Europe to invest and create value with our sport assets. I think we will do it better than a US private equity fund run out of Miami or San Francisco, because we know the market, because we know the stakeholders, and it is different from other parts. But we believe in Europe, so that's probably the
Thank you for this message.
To pass on.
We have a few minutes left. You talked about Benjamin Saada, the CEO of Fermat, who's coming. If you were starting your career today, both of you, what kind of sport business would you launch, like right now?
Now, I think I would do exactly the same as I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So always try to innovate, try to find the crossroad between sport, entertainment, and technology, because this is where you really can create value and what maximizes value as well for the fan. So always something which puts the fan at the core of the strategy and of the product.
Karim, same question.
Well, I am actually starting a new career, so I'm joining forces with my friend Danny, partner, to start a European sport investment fund. So that's our new project. What we said earlier is not only theory.
You cannot say more for now, for the moment?
No, we have very strict restrictions. But
Okay.
but no, we believe in the potential of our sport assets in Europe. We believe in our ability to create value, scale up those assets, and do it a European way. Which is probably more and better suited to the ecosystem of sport, and sport is part of our social fabric, is important to our communities, it's important to our economies, and we believe, we hope to have a recipe to make it work.